So we are told here, X company has the following figures from its most recent accounts. So you can see receivables, you can see payables, you can see inventory, you can see sales, then you can see material purchases, then you can see cost of sales. So they want us to calculate the relevant working ratios, round your answers to the nearest day, but most importantly, I would want us to get the cash operating cycle, the cash operating cycle. So cash operating cycle, ladies and gentlemen, happens to be within working capital management. And anytime anybody who mentions anything to do with working capital, I'll always remember that if you don't have enough working capital, if you don't have enough working capital as a company, then you shall rest in peace. If you don't have enough working capital, you shall always rest in peace because your suppliers will start coming to the company. When they come to the company, they'll be told that the CFO is not there to sign. The CEO is not there. The CEO is sick. That basically tells you that there is a problem with working capital. These people don't have enough liquidity. They don't have enough liquidity. So this rest in peace is just an acronym, which we normally use so much in terms of what here? Working capital. Standing for what here? R stands for receivables. So this stands for receivables. This stands for inventory. This stands for inventory. This stands for payables. So anytime we talk of working capital, you must always reason from these three. So in terms of the cash operating cycle, I would want you guys to give me the receivable days, inventory days. I would want you to give me the payable days, right? So we start with the receivable days. So receivable days, I'll take the receivable at the end of the year. I divide by who? I divide by sales. So of course, sales has to be credit sales, right? In most cases, it will be credit sales given. You can write here credit sales times 365 times 365. So in this question that we are given here, ladies and gentlemen, are you able to see the receivables? Is there anybody who is able to see the receivables here? Yes, I can see there 4, right? So I'll take 4, and then sales, I can see it's 80%. That is what here on credit. So it's very easy. So I'll come, ladies and gentlemen, here and pick my receivables. My receivables at the end of the year, I can see there are 4. Sales credit is 80% of the 30 that we saw there, times 365. How much are we getting here? Remember, they told us, ladies and gentlemen, here, they told us here that the receivables, we have here receivables are 4, and then credit sales is 80%, which is credit. So 80% times 30. So is there somebody who is able to give me this answer? Just take 4 divided by, you open brackets here, 4 divided by, open brackets, 0.8 times 30 close, whatever we get, we say times 365. Then is giving me a figure of 61. We have been told to round off to a whole number. So 61. Now from there, ladies and gentlemen, could we kindly go to the payables? Not payables, but inventory. So inventory, for me, I'll wrap because I know already you guys have figures. So please, let's go to inventory. So inventory. So inventory, we'll take the inventory at the end of the year. We divide by who? We divide by the cost. Inventory, we divide by the cost of sales. Times what here, somebody? Times 365. Times 365. Times 365. So in this question, have they given me, ladies and gentlemen, the inventory at the end of the year? Have they given me the inventory at the end of the year? Inventory given at the end of the year is what here? Somebody who has got good eyes. Somebody with good eyes. What inventory amount are you able to see? Somebody with good eyes, inventory is 4.3. Inventory amount is 4.3. Inventory amount is 4.3. So we have inventory here is 4.3. Divide this by the cost of sales given. Divide by the cost of sales given. And the cost of sales, you guys are able to see what here? Somebody? 25, isn't it? cost of sales, you are able to see 25. So the cost of sales here is 25 times 365. So is there somebody who can give us an answer there? I'm waiting for an answer from you good students of mine. I'm waiting for an answer from you good students of mine. I'm waiting for an answer from you good students of mine. I can't see your answers. I can't see your answers. I'm waiting to see many guys. I'm waiting to see many guys speaking to me. I'm waiting to see many people speaking to me. What answer are they getting here? 63 days, 63 days, 63 days. Thank you very much. So in inventory, this will be 63 days. Thank you very much. 63 days. That is it. So that's inventory. So go to the last one under our rest in peace. The last one is the purchases. The purchases days. Purchases days. So purchases days, is there somebody who knows how we will calculate? Of course, I know we shall take the purchases over what? Purchases over what? Can somebody give me the denominator here? Purchases over what? 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 Can somebody give us? Yeah, cost of sales. Lenny says cost of sales. Yes. Yes. If you are able, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here to pinpoint the credit purchases for payables. You know, payables, we purchase on credit and then we pay. And then we pay. If you are able to identify the purchases within cost of sales, then here we normally use the credit purchases. Credit purchases times 365 like that. Times 365 like that. Right? And sometimes they'll tell you that these are materials that you purchased. If they tell you it's materials you purchased, you must be very careful with your purchases. Here you must pick the materials purchased. For me to be very clear here, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at these. Let's look at these. So they're telling us here, in this question, you can see here, we are told here the payables, we have 2. So it will be 2 divided by the credit purchases and all were material purchases. So all on credit. So I'll take 2 divided by what here, somebody? 2 divided by 18 times 365. 2 divided by 18 times 365. So is there somebody who can give me this answer? 2 divided by 18 times 365. Is there somebody who can give us these purchases days? Purchases days. So please, purchases works together very well with what here? Sorry, it should be payable days. Sorry, it should be payable days. Payable days. It works very well with what here? Purchases and payables, they work hand in hand. Purchases should be payable over what here? Purchases, sorry for that, over purchases. So they're giving me how many days? 41 days, 41 days. Let me repeat this. Let me repeat this very well. So whenever, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about working capital management, what are we looking at? We are looking at the famous rest in peace. So rest in peace, we have the receivable days, we have the inventory days, inventory days. So inventory days, and then of course we have the payable days. And we confused here a little bit. Remember the payable days, you take the payables that you have, you divide this by the credit purchases times 365. So could you kindly remind us, who can give us the receivable days? How many days? Please remind us. I know these are 41. Please remind us here, how many receivable days do we have? How many receivable days do we have? 61. How about inventory days? How many do we have inventory days? Inventory days, there were 63. So remember, these are your assets, right? This is a liability. So payable days must always be subtracted for you to be able to get the cash operating cycle. For you to be able to get the cash operating cycle, you must come and do what here? You take this plus this minus this. So the cash operating cycle equals how many days? Can somebody in this case here give us the cash operating cycle? The cash operating cycle, is there somebody who can give us this cash operating cycle very first? Is there somebody who can give us this cash operating cycle very first? Is there somebody who can give us this cash operating cycle very fast? The cash operating cycle very fast. Is there somebody who can give us a figure? 83 days, 83 days. And you can see the answer given here. It's here. It's 83 days. The length of the COC, the cash operating cycle, is 83 days. So in this case here, you guys are right. So it should be 83 days. So ladies and gentlemen, I would want to recap this. Please forget about everything else in terms of the cash operating cycle, but never forget what we have called the rest in what here? The rest in peace. The rest in peace in terms of the cash operating cycle is very important. And your examiner, what your examiner will do, he'll confuse you now with this inventory. He'll tell you that inventory, we have got inventory of raw materials, we've got inventory of work in progress, and then we've got inventory of the finished what? Finished goods. This is how your examiner will want to confuse you. Just that, he'll now be able to give you various categorization of inventory. That is what he would want to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, for us to be able to understand this once and for all, we have this question here for us. This one that was tested in May 2012. Marlboro Company estimates the following figures for the coming year. You can see sales all on credit is 3.6 million. You can see receivables 306,000. Gross profit margin is 25% on sales. Finished goods 200,000. Then we have work in progress 350,000. Then you have got raw materials balance held 150,000. Then you have got trade payables 130,000. Inventory levels are constant. And then they are telling us, ladies and gentlemen, that raw materials are 80% of cost of sales all on credit. Then they want us to do something very easy, which FM students here will not be able to get even nothing. Calculate the cash operating cycle. Calculate the cash operating cycle. So here, the first thing that I'll do as a good student, when they give me this gross profit margin like that, it means they have not given me cost of sales, right? So I need a trading account. The first thing I'll do is to come and produce a trading account. So come here and give us a trading account. Give us a trading account. Give us a trading account. So trading account, so we have our sales is 3.6 million. We have our cost of sales. This one here we do not know. And then we have our gross profit. So our gross profit is the one they have given as a percentage. Our gross profit is the one they have given as a percentage. Gross profit they have given as a percentage. They have told us gross profit margin is 25% on sales. 25% on sales. So cost of sales, whatever gross profit is 25%. 25% of sales, which is 3.6 million. So can somebody in this case here give me this gross profit? Could you kindly give me the gross profit here? Yeah, they're giving me a figure of 900,000, right? So if I take this to be my X, I know that 3.6 million minus the cost of sales of X, I should be able to get 900,000. Therefore, X will be equal, if this goes to the other side, it will be 900,000 minus 3.6. The minuses will cancel out. Is there somebody who can give me this cost of sales? Is there somebody who can give me this cost of sales? Yeah, they're telling me it is 2.7 million, isn't it? They're telling me it is 2.7 million. The other alternative, if the gross profit is 25%, the cost of sales must be 75%. It's 2.7 million. That is the first thing that you ought to have done as a good finance scholar. That's the first thing you ought to have done. So, ladies and gentlemen, after I've done that, I'll come here. I can see they're giving me something very nice here, that you've got raw materials, which are 80% of cost of sales, all on credit. So if I'm the one, ladies and gentlemen, doing this, I'll come here and just put a mark here, just down here. Give them the cost of the raw materials consumed in a year. It will be 8% of the cost of sales, 80% of the cost of sales, 80% of the cost of sales. So it will be 80% of the 2.7 million, just for my workings, low-hanging fruits that I'm harvesting. So Monica KG gives me a figure of 2160,000. So up to here, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to get feedback from you. Are we together up to here? Are we together up to here? Are we together up to here? Great. Thank you so much. Great. Now, once I've been able to reach there now, I should be able to use my rest in peace. To get the operating cash cycle ratios, to get the receivable days. I should be able to get the inventory days. I should be able to get the payable days. So let's start with the receivable days. Is there somebody who can give us the receivable days? And I would want now to mark for you guys. Receivable days, I should be able to mark for you guys. Let me just display these here. Receivable days, I would want to mark for you guys. Once you finish, could you kindly, in this case here, go ahead and give us an answer for receivable days. We're using rest in peace. So for receivable days, what do we have? We're using rest in peace. Receivable days, what do we have here? So receivable days, I'm waiting. 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 Receivable days, I am waiting. Anybody who has an answer, we mark together. Now it has reached that point, which is a very good point for Mwalimu. We are marking together. We are looking at what we have, all of us. So receivable days, from 5 students, we are getting 31 days. You guys are geniuses. This has an answer. Let me just check. Yeah, it's here. Great. Let's check. Let's start with the receivable days. So receivable days or receivable collection period is 31 days. Yes, it's 31 days. I love you guys. You guys are bright. 31 days. Thank you very much. So for receivable days, what is it that these guys did really? To be able to get these receivable days, what is it that they did? Very easy. The receivable days, this is what they did. Just 1 minute. Let me get this question. Receivable days, ladies and gentlemen, this is what? Great. you really need to hammer down so many questions for you to be able to pass this easy paper. You need to hammer very many questions, and here we are for you. So when you look at, ladies and gentlemen, so this question, receivable days, how comes I'm forgetting the page number? It's here. So for receivable days, what they did, they took the receivables here. They took the receivables here of 3 or 6,000, and then they divided by the credit sales times 365. So in this case here, for us to be on the same platform, we are saying that our receivable days or collection period, you'll come here and give us the receivables at the end of the year. You divide this, of course, we normally receive from credit sales. When we sell on credit, start receiving, start collecting. So in this case, divided by credit sales times 365. And you can see in the question that the receivable was 306,000, all over the credit sales, which were 3.6 million, like that, times 365. Are you able to give me this answer? Yes, they gave me this answer a long time ago, 31. Now here I can see that this examiner wants to joke around with me. He has done categorization of the inventory. So I will not go to inventory first. I will attack the payables. So I would want, in this case here, somebody to give me the payable days. Could you kindly give me the payable days here? Let's see. Kindly give me the payable days, and then we mark together. From here, give me the payable days, and then we get to mark together. Is there somebody who can give me the payable days here? I'll not do the inventory first. So I can see the trade payables are 130,000, but now the question is, I should be able to divide these with what figure? Times 365 is ever there. So 130 times 365 over what? So I'm waiting to see, ladies and gentlemen, even the first student making a response there for us to check the answer really and mark for ourselves. Don't fear getting wrong. Getting wrong is part of the stuff. It's part of learning. There is no way you can get into this and get to appreciate everything correctly without getting a few wrongs here and there. Getting it wrong is part of the game. I can see one chart. I'm going to open up the answer once I see like 3 of them. Once I see like 3 of them, then I'll be able to open the answer. And then we mark together. So in the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, what I'll do, I'll come straight away here. So I'm seeing the charts. They're saying 18. Jacqueline gave me 22 days, and I don't know why Jacqueline came to my inbox. We want us to put everything, Jacqueline, out there for everybody to see, really. We learn together. We want to learn together. So allow me then to share the answer. It's very easy. So long as I know how to get the payables. 18, let's see. So the answer is here. So for payables, what do we have for payables? For payables, ladies and gentlemen, we have 22 days. And I know most of you guys were not able to remember that payables and the purchases work hand in hand together. Payables and the purchases of raw materials you can remember our purchases. You can remember our purchases of raw materials, which were 80%, and all of them were on credit. So in this case here for purchases, I will work with this 21.6, not the entire cost of sales, because, ladies and gentlemen, remember what we have said here severally is this. That whenever they want us to give them the payables, whenever they want us to give them the payable days, this is what we shall do. So for payable days, just look for payables divided by credit purchases. And normally what do we purchase? Normally we purchase raw materials. And the payables that you guys gave me here, the payables that you guys gave me here are 130,000. So I'll take 130,000 I'll take 130,000 all over the credit purchases. And if you remember very well, the material credit purchases were given a figure here. They told us raw materials are 80% of cost of sales and all are on credit. And because of this 80% from the whatever we did earlier on, we're able to get, if you remember, 2,700, but remember 2,160 were for the materials. 2160. So you divide this with 2160. Thank you so much. 2160, like that, times 100 or times 365. I want to believe that this will give you 22 days. Is there somebody who is able to get these 22 days there? Is there somebody who is able to get the 22 days now? Please talk to me very fast because now we have to finish this relay. Yes, thank you so much. Now from there we go to inventory. Can I wrap this now? Can I wrap this now? Can I wrap this? Can I wrap this? Can I wrap this? Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. After all, you'll get the workings later. So now we can go to inventory. I like this examiner so much. So these examiners and gentlemen gave us 3 categories of inventory. So we have inventory of raw materials. We have inventory of work in progress. We have inventory of finished goods. We have inventory of finished goods. Inventory of finished goods. We are done this working. Perhaps you check the working later because I have to sign back to my machine workplace and I can see the time is not on my side. Sorry. So we have the 80% that I'll be able to explain later. So ladies and gentlemen, we have this question here. You see, we have got raw materials, balance held, right, of 150. So in terms of inventory, is there somebody who can give me the inventory raw material days? Inventory raw material days. Inventory raw material days. Try giving me these inventory. So inventory, we've got 3 of them. We have 3 of them. So now I would want to start with inventory days for raw materials. For raw materials. Is there somebody who has got an answer there? Inventory, let me just share this with you. Inventory. So you can see the balance held. I can even discuss this answer with you in the interest of time. So in this case here, you can see, ladies and gentlemen, for the raw materials holding period, they took the 150,000 divided by the credit material purchases, that 2160. 150,000 divided by the 2160 times 365, which gave them 25 days. 25 days. That's number 1. The other inventory that I would want to show you, ladies and gentlemen, is the inventory under work in progress. So now we have inventory, work in progress. So now work in progress, ladies and gentlemen, work in progress. Now we can't look at just raw materials alone. Work in progress, now we've been able to add other things. So for work in progress, what Mr. Collins must have told you is that for work in progress, ladies and gentlemen, work in progress, here you take the work in progress value given, you divide by cost of sales. You divide by cost of sales times 365. Right? So the work in progress given, ladies and gentlemen, the work in progress given here in the question, they have given us this as work in progress. They have given us this as work in progress. So the work in progress given here in question, the work in progress given in question is 350. So you take 350, and then you divide this by the cost of sales. Is there somebody who is able to remember our cost of sales total figure? Is there somebody who is able to remember our total cost of sales figure? Was it 2.7 million? Is there somebody who can remember a figure like 2.7 million? 2.7, yes. So you divide this by 2.7 million times 365 is 350,000, like that. So can somebody give me the number of days here? Can somebody give me the number of, Naomi Kanana tells me 47 days. 47 days. So 47 days, ladies and gentlemen, for work in progress, 350 divided by, rounding off error, 48 days. Thank you so much. Now from there, come and give me the one of finished goods. So how do we get inventory finished goods? inventory finished goods. Is it 47 or 48 when you round off? Is it supposed to be 47 or 48 when you round off? 47, eh? 47, right? 47. So they must have messed there. They must have messed there. So come and give us inventory, finished goods. So you are told that for finished goods, you always use the same approach with a work in progress. So what you need to do is to come, ladies and gentlemen, here, for finished goods, pick the finished goods you are given. Pick the finished goods you are given, divided by what your cost of sales, times 365. So you pick the finished goods you're given, you divide by the same cost of sales. Please never ever value finished goods using the sales figure. No. Remember IAS 2. IAS 2, ladies and gentlemen, talks over whichever inventory, always value inventory at cost. So in this case, do we have, ladies and gentlemen, do we have finished goods? Oh, yes, we do. Finished goods. They've given us finished goods here of 200,000. 200,000. So I should be able to take 200,000 divided by the cost of sales of 2.7 million times 365, which at the end of the day will give me how many days? Which will give me how many days, somebody? 27, right? 27. Now, once you get that, hey, you good students, once you reach there, what you need to do is to come and give us now a summary. Give us a summary in terms of the rest in peace. Give us a summary in terms of rest in peace. Give us a summary. Give us the receivable days. How many were they? Come and give us a rest in peace inventory. So inventory, give us raw material. Give us inventory, raw material days. Give us inventory, work in progress days. Give us inventory, finished goods days. Give us the payable days. Is there somebody who can summarize this for us very first? Is there somebody who can give us these figures very first? Already they have, like the receivable days were how many? Receivable days were how many? Somebody, some good student here. Receivable days were how many? A good student here. 31, eh? How about inventory raw material days? Is there somebody who could be having this figure somewhere? Inventory raw material days, 25. Thank you very much, Lenny. How about inventory work in progress days? 47. Inventory finished goods days. 27. Payable days. 22. Payable days are the only ones we subtract for us to be able to get a cash operating cycle. What do we have? Somebody here. Somebody is asking whether we should round upwards or downwards. No, we should even be writing answers in decimals, exact decimals. We only went for this approach because the examiner told us to do this. So I'm being told the figure is 108. The figure I'm being told here is 108. So remember that I'll be able to upload this particular word here. I'll be able to upload this particular video on YouTube and share this with you. So apart from the rounding off errors, you can see they got 109. And then I'll be able to share the link with you. Of course, I expect, as usual, when you get my video on YouTube, I expect you to enable this Mwalimu to become an international lecturer. I need to really teach students from very many nations. You can see this Mwalimu is quite endowed with some good knowledge. So when you reach there, subscribe, number one, share. If possible, share, comment there. Please promote me. Otherwise, thank you very much. It has been quite a wonderful session. I hope you enjoyed the session. Bye.